I am back with more wedding drama. There is just so much wedding drama out there. The fact that I can do so many videos says a lot. Like, why?
Why, God, why?
Why is there so much drama during the happiest time of your life, apparently? Anyways, first story is titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to change my bridesmaid dress after already paying a deposit? This story came March 10th, 2026. I'm supposed to be a bridesmaid in my friend's wedding. A while ago, I found a dress I really liked and I sent it to the bride saying I thought I found the one. She replied saying it was amazing and that she loved it. So based on that, I went ahead and I put a deposit down on it. Important context. The bridesmaids are paying for their own dresses. Now, after I've already paid my deposit, another bridesmaid has messaged our group chat saying the dresses are supposed to be satin or silk and that my dress doesn't match the vibe. She said I could just get it returned or changed because it would ruin the aesthetic and the photos. The problem is that no one ever clearly told me the dresses had to be satin or silk. It might have been briefly mentioned once in conversation, but it definitely wasn't presented as a strict requirement. If it had been made clear, I obviously wouldn't have bought the dress that I did. I'm also a bit annoyed because I checked with the bride before paying the deposit and she said that it looked nice. If there had been an issue, that would have been the moment to say something. She is also now saying that I didn't check with her and just said that I had bought it. Now I'm being asked to change my dress even though I'm the one paying for it and I've already put the money down. I don't really feel like this is fair. At this point, I'm considering just stepping down from being a bridesmaid because the whole thing has turned into drama and I don't feel comfortable. So, am I the a-hole for refusing to change the dress? That makes no sense. Why would the bride not say something? Could she not tell from the pictures? Or I don't know if you sent her a link. Like, that doesn't make sense because why wouldn't you say, oh, that's not what I'm asking for you girls to be in? Actually, the last 3 weddings I've stood in, including the one I'm standing in this year, has all been a satin silk requirement. It's just in right now. They are loving that look. And I like it too. They're very pretty. So we have an update 3 days later. A lot of the backstory probably explains why I reacted the way I did. So here it is. I've been friends with the bride since school, about 15 years now. We don't speak all the time because we live about 2 hours apart, but once or twice a year we meet up and we catch up. When she got engaged 2 years ago, she asked me to be one of her 2 bridesmaids plus a maid of honor. Things started getting a bit weird early on. Back in October, we had a bridal shower with bridesmaids and close family, which was fine. After that, the bride said that she wanted a hen party. The mother of the bride went ahead and booked a hotel without asking any of the 3 bridesmaids first, and then expected us to split the cost of 2 rooms for the bride, the 3 of us, the mother, and her friend. Where do people get the audacity though? Where are you finding that? We all said no, and we told her that she should try and get a refund because none of us had agreed to that. Trying to be helpful, I offered to host a hen party at my house instead. Honestly, I wish I hadn't. I spent months planning it. I bought decorations, organized games, did loads of food. I set everything up at my house, the whole thing. The maid of honor was basically impossible to contact during the planning, and she ignored my messages all the time. The other bridesmaid mostly just turned up with a blow-up doll with the groom's face on it, which somehow ended up being the highlight of the night. After everyone left, I didn't even get a thank you message. Not from the bridesmaids, not from the maid of honor, not even from the bride. I actually haven't heard from any of them since that night. Because of that silence, I just decided to sort my own dress out. I live 2 hours away from them and I don't drive, so organizing group shopping trips wasn't really practical anyway. I found a dress I liked and I sent it to the bride before the deposit. She did not say that there was an issue at the time. Then out of nowhere, I got a pretty rude message from that other bridemaid and the maid of honor saying that they thought we were all supposed to decide on dresses together. Then it escalated from there. The bridesmaid messaged me again saying she had spoken to the bride and groom and they weren't happy and would rather make her a joint maid of honor so that I don't stand out too much. There are literally only 3 bridesmaids, including me, so it felt like a really strange thing to say. She also told me she can be a betch if she has to, and then offered to buy me a cheap champagne dress instead. On top of that, she also said the bride was worried about numbers at the wedding and that they were no longer inviting children. She told me this in a way that made it sound like my daughter and my mom would no longer be invited anymore. I hadn't even heard that directly from the bride myself, and at that point, I didn't even know if my boyfriend was still invited either. Screw the bridesmaid and the maid of honor. Just talk to your friend. That's your friend. Forget the rest. You don't know them. Talk to your friend. I would be so mad if I was hearing this from them. Being told all of that through another bridesmaid instead of the bride felt really strange and honestly quite hurtful. At that point, I didn't reply to her at all. I went straight to the bride instead because we've been friends for 15 years and I thought if anyone was going to be honest with me, it would be her. I told her that if she didn't like the dress, that would have been the time to say it when I showed her it before I put the deposit down. I also said I was really taken aback by the messages and comments from the other bridesmaids and that it had made me feel uncomfortable enough that I was considering not attending the wedding at all. Now I'm waiting to see what she says back. Honestly, at this point, I'm starting to feel like I put in way more effort than anyone else and somehow ended up being the problem. Ugh, wedding drama just stresses me out. Like, I don't get it. I just see so many friendships and stuff fall apart during wedding season, and it's like, how? Where have we gone wrong in wedding culture that it's ruining relationships and friendships? Like, what's happening? It should just be easy and happy. Next update, we got it. After waiting for her to reply to my last message, she finally got back to me. In short, she said she actually has no problem with the dress and thinks it's beautiful. The color is the one that was agreed on, champagne, and she said from the start that as long as the dresses were that color, we could wear whatever we felt comfortable in. She said the situation seems to have come as a surprise to the other bridesmaids because they didn't realize I'd already paid a deposit for my dress. But she also said she can't speak for what's being said in their group chat. She also told me she was really upset that I was considering stepping down because she had always planned for me to be a bridesmaid since we were younger. As for my daughter, she said she never told anyone that she wasn't invited. She said she's still figuring out numbers and that she and her fiance had already talked about not having children at the night reception, but the rest of the day is still something they're working out, and she said she would let me know, as we had discussed before. So my reply, I thanked her for explaining everything and I told her I never wanted to cause any stress around her wedding. I honestly believed everything was fine when I showed her the dress before I paid the money. However, because of everything that's happened, I told her I feel it might be best if I step down as bridesmaid as I don't want any tension around her big day. I also told her that I love her and I hope she has the most amazing wedding day. Where things stand now. At the moment, I'm still feeling really uncomfortable about the whole situation and I don't see how continuing as a bridesmaid would lead to a good outcome for anyone after all the drama. I'm not someone who likes conflict and I didn't appreciate being spoken to in such an aggressive tone by the other bridesmaid. It also leaves me in a difficult position because I've heard completely different versions of the event. Either the bridesmaid has massively misrepresented things to me or the bride is now saying something different. Yeah, because she did say that you never sent it to her. God, why? So messy. I honestly don't know which one is the truth, and that uncertainty is another reason I feel like stepping back is the best option. Looking back, I can also see how I maybe could have handled things differently. I've never been a bridesmaid before, and I was honestly just excited about it, and I wanted to get everything done early, which is why I went ahead and bought the dress once I thought everything was agreed. For context as well, me and the other bridesmaid have never had any issues in the past. The bridesmaid is the bride's current best friend, and she had mentioned that the bride wanted me to speak to her as she is very stressed over the whole wedding planning. I don't know her particularly well, but we've always been friendly and I've never had a problem with her before. Her messages just caught me completely off guard. For now, stepping down feels like the least dramatic option so that there's no stress around the wedding. Oof. Yeah, that's a big decision to step down out of someone's wedding. Would you guys have done that? Like, how would you have handled that if you were in her position? I get feeling uncomfortable after that and not knowing who to believe, who to trust. It would be so awkward. You already feel a little bit out of place too. Ugh. Miserable. Next story. Would I be the a-hole if I asked my parents not to attend my sister's wedding since she didn't invite me? Family drama. A few days ago, my 16 female sister, 25 female, announced that she'd be getting married next year. Obviously, I was happy for her, and when she gave out the invitations to the guests, I was expecting to be invited. However, when I checked with her, she told me that she and her fiance wanted a child-free wedding and that I would not be allowed to come. I was saddened by the news, but I accepted it, assuming it had to do with the venue or maybe legal stuff like the presence of alcohol or insurance liability. That changed when I found out her fiance's 15-year-old cousin was invited. From what I know, she and I are the only teenagers in either family, so I initially assumed my sister had misunderstood something. Maybe the child-free rule only applied to kids under 13 or something like that. But when I asked her, she clarified that the cousin was the only exception. She said it was because the cousin is extremely mature for her age, that she and the fiance are very close, and that he sees her as a sister. Oh, so you don't see me as a sister then? Okay. What a slap in the face. That really upset me. The cousin is younger than me, and while I understand they may have a bond, I feel like my sister and I have a strong relationship too, or at least I thought we did. It felt like she was basically saying I'm less mature or less important, even though I'm her actual sister. So I told her I thought it was hypocritical to exclude me but still invite someone younger. She responded by saying it's her wedding and she's allowed to make the guest list however she wants. But then she added that she thinks I would throw off the vibe because she wants the wedding to feel more adult. That really hurt, as I've never caused any drama at family events, and I don't think I act immaturely. It felt like she was making a judgment about me that came out of nowhere. I ended up telling my parents about it, and they agreed with me. They said it felt unfair and hypocritical. Oh my god, and what is going on? Okay, I need to go slow, apparently. I don't know what's happening. I truly don't. Hypocritical. Oh my god. You know what? You know what I'm saying. They said it was unfair, and that word, for my sister to exclude me while inviting someone even younger, especially without a clear reason. I can't do it, you guys. I'm giving up. I'm literally having a glitch. They told my sister how they felt, but she stood by her decision. I'm debating on whether I should ask them not to go, as I kind of understand her my wedding, my rules attitude, but I still feel upset about it, and I want my parents to stand up for me. I feel like if one of them pushes back, she will back down and let me come. So, would I be the a-hole if I ask my parents to reconsider going to the wedding? Oh, I don't think there's any way your parents are going to miss their child's wedding. But also, that's crazy to me. I can't believe you're not inviting your sister. That breaks my heart as the youngest sister. I would be devastated. We do have an update though, and it came 8 months later, so we'll find out what happened at the wedding. It came very recently, March 5th, 2026. After the post, I did end up asking my parents not to go. I just said I felt insecure and kind of embarrassed that I was being excluded. They told me they understood why, but they were still going to the wedding. They did say that they would talk to my sister about it, but told me that she wouldn't budge. For a few months, things were awkward between me and my sister. We barely talked, and I thought that things seemed weird between her and our parents. I felt really bad that it might have ruined her relationship with our parents just over a wedding, and I really wanted to apologize. The first time we actually interacted properly was at a family gathering in late November. It was at her house and I didn't want to go, but I also didn't want to make things worse. When I greeted her, she told me that she wanted to take me to her kitchen. She told me she regretted not inviting me. Oh, and then doubling down on it. She said she had already been really stressed about the wedding and was trying to make everything perfect for both her and her fiance. Apparently, they had both agreed on a child-free wedding, but had different definitions of it, and she didn't realize until I had told her that the cousin was coming, which apparently she didn't know about. She decided to make up some excuse as to why they were invited without really thinking about how it would sound, and kind of accidentally called me immature and implied our relationship wasn't close. Accidentally? And it's been months? Okay, well, I think that's a poor excuse, but sure. She apologized and said she felt really bad about how she handled it and asked if I would forgive her. I told her I was still hurt about it, but I appreciated the apology. Then she told me I was invited and she had been wanting to talk for a while, but felt like I would be really angry at her. The wedding actually happened about a week ago. I did end up going and everything was pretty normal. And the cousin seemed pretty nice, even though we didn't really interact. I honestly felt a little guilty for using her as reasoning to pressure my sister. I don't know why you feel so bad. Yeah. Let me know what you guys think about that. Maybe I'm just like extra sensitive to it because I'm the baby sister. Let me know your thoughts. We're gonna hydrate though before our next story. I'm hydrating with peppermint tea. Let me know what's in your cup. You might be dehydrating. That's fine. It's hydration station, but like just join the station with whatever you got, you know? Cheers. Let me know.
So a lot of people were worried about you because you came into the filming room all sucky the other day and sat with us, and they thought you might be sick or ill. But do you remember how crazy you've been since then? She's been cuckoo bonkers. She's been totally hyper, just fine, going on walks, eating well. Girl is good to go. Say, I'm fine, you guys, but thanks for your concern. Sometimes I just get a little anxious and I want mom's attention. Boo-boo, where's your ducky?
Oh yeah, I had to throw her new flamingo out because she literally mutilated it like a serial killer. It was crazy. If you know, you know.
That's you, girl.
All right, next story. Am I the a-hole for not going to my parents' wedding? What's with all the family drama? This story came December 18th, 2022. My friends told me to make a Reddit account just for this because this is so weird and no one knows if I'm in the right. Okay, this will be fun. So my 26 female parents, both 50, got married when I was 5 and I was the flower girl. Around when I was 10, they got divorced, which no one saw coming because they never fought. I feel like I have to mention my parents are both very wealthy and kept finances separate, and so it was an easy divorce and obviously they could pay for it. When I was about 17-ish, they decided to get back together. Me, being 17, was overjoyed and was a bridesmaid at their second wedding. I really hope you see where this is going, but they ended up separating again. Oh God, here we go.
Here we go again.
They didn't tell anyone and they didn't get a divorce, but we all knew that they were separated, and 3 years later, they now wanted to renew their vows, in which I was asked to buy a nice dress for the occasion. Surprise! They got divorced again. Oh my God. So clearly the sanctity of marriage doesn't mean much to these guys. What's the point of marriage though at that point? Like genuinely asking, just date, just be together. What's the point of getting married? I can't imagine what their lawyers were like. They're divorced from the same person. Crazy. There should be a law how many times you can divorce and marry the same person. And only 3 months after their renewal. After that, I sort of just lived my own life because I wasn't exactly thrilled at whatever they were doing, and I was really over it. Girl, I'm over it for you. So a few days ago, I got an invite in the mail to my parents' 4th wedding after 6 years. And so I called my mom about it. She was super excited and told me I was old enough to be her maid of honor and that she wants me to buy a $1,500 dress. That's a solid no from me. I told her I'd be her maid of honor, but I'm either going to wear the original bridesmaid dress, which is a cream color, or the other nice one I got, which is brown, because I'm not buying a $1,500 dress. She freaked out and told me that those don't match the color scheme, which is pink and green, and that she knows I can afford it. Which is true. I got an inheritance from my grandfather's passing. However, when my fiance and I moved in together, he made it clear he didn't want me to be paying for most things, and he wanted to do it 50-50. So we got a small apartment that he could afford to pay his share, and all of my extra money is in savings or a college fund, because we do want a large family of 5 to 7 kids, and they are, well, expensive. So I reminded my mom of that, and I told her that I would also like to use my money on other things that won't be worn once, and I'll have to buy a new one every 3 to 6 years. My mom called me a spoiled brat and that I'm wasting my privilege. I have no words. And that I'm telling her I won't be part of my own parents' wedding. I told her that I was going to be willing to show up to the wedding and not be a maid of honor, but at this point I'm not showing up at all, and I told her to call me when they get their their next divorce. I mean, how do you not blame them for feeling this way at this point? It would feel like a joke at that point. It really would. And like, why do you have to like host a wedding every time? Like go to the courthouse and get remarried. You gotta have a whole celebration every time? What are we celebrating? Clearly it's not working. This is nuts to me. I hung up and I got a slew of nasty emails from my family throughout the day, and my friends are divided on if I made the right call, with the premise that they are my parents. Am I the a-hole? I don't know. What do you guys feel? Like, to me, it's just so bizarre. Like, do what you gotta do, but I don't know. We really gotta be throwing a wedding every 3 to 6 years? We gotta have another wedding? Go get married. Go get legally married. So bizarre. I've never heard of this in my life. I've never heard of a couple that gets divorced and remarried that many times. We have an update, which came 10 days later. A lot of people suggested just making my mom pay for the dress, but I was debating the suggestion of just being a guest. Though a lot of you agreed with me to just not show up. I ended up calling my mom and I was going to make a decision however that call went. She started off the conversation that she didn't need me to be a part of the wedding party because her and my dad were having trouble having the best people, aka no one will do it again. So they were going to scratch that part of the wedding and it was all about them anyway. All right, so everyone's feeling this way. So I told them I was coming as a guest, and after I made plans with my cousin to give me a lift so I wasn't spending a single cent on going to their wedding. Now my fiance and I go over to their house for dinner once a month, so we went over there Saturday. As I mentioned before in a comment or two, my fiance grew up financially insecure, and so I struggle with convincing him to do something nice for himself once in a while. I did, however, just convince him to spend part of our savings to do a really nice honeymoon in Greece since we are doing a small wedding. It took some pulling of teeth, but he now won't stop getting travel books and researching, and it makes me so happy to see him so excited about this. It was a fairly pleasant dinner until my own wedding planning came up. I told them that we were pretty much set with the wedding, but we were having our details on. This is worded strange, but I told them that we were pretty much set with the wedding, but we were having our details on Greece. Okay, I don't know what that means fully. My mom got visibly upset and excused herself, and my dad followed. I was pretty confused, but they came back and my dad calmly explained that my mom feels hurt that I would be willing to spend thousands of dollars on my honeymoon, but wouldn't shell out money for their wedding. I was pretty dumbfounded and I said, well, we are willing to have an expense on the honeymoon because we are only getting married once. So yeah, I got kicked out of the house and uninvited from the wedding. Not super torn up about it, and this is now my fiance's favorite story to tell. Happy holidays, y'all. Oh my God. I mean, I don't know how your parents are even surprised by people reacting this way. That's ridiculous. Like I said, if you want to keep breaking up and getting back together, that's your life to do. Couldn't be me. But to have a wedding every time and expect people to treat it like you literally split up 3 months after the last wedding. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on these ones, you guys. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. I'll see you tomorrow.